Starting from a very simple picture, you are trying to find the lowest point in the landscape, but you are blindfolded. The only thing you can feel is the slope under your feet. That slope tells you which direction to step. SGD is exactly this. At every step, you feel the slope and move downhill. But there are two immediate problems. First, the slope is noisy because you are only sampling in a small part of the terrain, so sometimes you step in slightly wrong directions. Second, you always use the same step size, no matter whether the terrain is steep, flat, or uneven. This makes the path zigzag and inefficient. As shown in the trajectory plot in the document, SGD tend to wander and converge slowly, as shown in the blue line. The momentum comes from a very natural idea. Don't just trust the current step. Remember where you are going. Imagine pushing a ball instead of walking step by step. The ball builds up velocity. If the terrain constantly slopes in one direction, the ball accelerates that way. If the slope changes randomly, those fluctuations get smoothed out. So instead of reacting to every noisy signal, you follow more step trend. This is why momentum reduced oscillation and move faster along meaningful directions. The physical analogy in the document highlights this view. The inertia helps you move along the valley instead of bouncing around. However, momentum still assumes every direction in the landscape behaves the same. In reality, some directions are steep and sensitive, while others are flat and slow. So AdaGrad introduced a different idea. Instead of focusing on direction, adjust the step size for each parameter independently. If a parameter has already seen large gradients, reduce each step size. If it has really been updated, allow larger steps. You can think of it as become cautious when you have already moved a lot, and more exploratory when you haven't. This works particularly well when different dimensions have different skills. But AdaGrad has a problem. It remembers everything forever. Over time, it keeps shrinking the step size and more until progress nearly stops. Training can stop because an algorithm becomes too conservative. RMSProp fixes this by giving the algorithm a short memory. Instead of accumulating all past information, it focuses on recent gradient. You can think of it as asking, what has the terrain looked like lately, rather than over the entire history. This allows it to keep adapting without becoming frozen. It maintains the benefit of the per-dimension scaling while avoiding the long-term decay issue of AdaGrad. At this point, there are two separate ideas. Momentum improves direction by smoothing gradients over time, and RMSProp improves the scaling by adapting step sizes. So the ADAM combines both. Before explaining ADAM, it is important to clarify a common confusion: momentum and moments. They sound similar, but they mean different things. As stated in the original papers, momentum is a physical concept. The variable v represents velocity. It is updated by combining the previous velocity with the current gradient. In words, you keep moving in the previous directions while slightly adjusting based on new information. The role of v is dynamic. It carries inertia and defines how you move through the landscape. Well, for the moment, in ADAM, it's a statistical concept. It describes the property of a distribution. The first moment is an average gradient, and the second moment is average of squared gradient, which reflect magnitude or variabilities. In ADAM, these are estimated using exponential averaging. The first moment gives a stable estimation of direction, while the second moment measures how large or noisy the gradients are in each direction. There is also a very important details. These estimates start from zeros, so early on they are biased. ADAM corrects this bias so that estimation better reflects the true mean and variance, especially in the initial steps. So, although the same symbol v used in both methods, the meaning is different. In momentum, v is the velocity and it controls how you move. In ADAM, v represents the second moment and controls how much you trust each direction. ADAM is also introduced another variable v, which plays a role similar to momentum by providing a smooth direction. A useful way to remember this is momentum uses velocity to move smoothly, while ADAM separates the problem into two parts. M decides where to go, and V decides how big the steps should be. Now, ADAM can be understood clearly. It combines the idea of stable direction from the momentum and adaptive scaling from RMSProp. It tracks both the average gradient and the variability of the gradients, then adjusts the update accordingly. The result is a method that's both stable and efficient. If you look again at the trajectory, optimizer trajectories in the document, the differences become intuitive. SGD is noisy and slow. Momentum smooths the path but can still overshot. AdaGrad slows down too much over time. RMSProp stabilizes learning. The ADAM achieves both fast and stable convergence, reaching good solution efficiently. The whole progression can be seen as making the optimizer less naive. First, we can stop reacting blindly to noisy gradients by introducing memories. Then we stop treating all directions equally by adapting step sizes. Finally, we combine both ideas so that each step is informed by both path directions and local structures.